Hey, welcome back to another exciting episode of YOMO, a year of magical learning. Today, we're up to episode 59, and I think this is one of the book that they kind of we can relate to a lot from company perspective.
Yeah.
So, Chris, why don't you take over?
Yeah. Have you read this one?
I have not, but I've heard it
Okay.
from you, and I've heard a lot of. I know the gist of the book.
Gotcha. Yeah. So it's a pretty interesting book, I thought. It's a book called Ultralearning: Mastering Hard Skills, Outsmart the Competition, and Accelerate Your Career by this guy named Scott Young.
Mhm.
So this dude, I can't remember the exact I'll probably butcher this a little bit, but I think he learned like four new foreign languages like completely to a level of fluency in like a year or something like that. He spent like 4 months in like multiple different countries, and he wouldn't leave until he had like mastered he could be technically called fluent. I think he actually graduated with some like advanced degree in like a really hard field from some college without ever going to the college. He just passed all the tests and passed out of this stuff. This guy is like he calls his little methodology ultra learning. So it's like being able to like immerse yourself in something new, really absorb it all, get the coaching, deliberate practice, kind of all these things, and get up to a proficiency level where you could be deemed proficient in something in a new skill, kind of and do it in a rapid time frame, basically. So that's the concept of this book. It's called ultra learning, right? So my reflection title was well, first off, the book's interesting. I would say if you guys are interested in this kind of stuff, like I enjoyed this book. I thought it was a good, interesting, quick read. So found it useful and enjoyable. But my personal reflection from this book was try before you buy is the way I titled this one. So I said I'm addicted to learning, right? Like I love it. Like, I mean, this is something that is a serious passion of mine. Otherwise I wouldn't do what I do every single day. And true, this is something that you and I have talked about a lot. Like, if you're not addicted to your core values, then you're probably doing something wrong, right? Like, you should probably take a really hard look at what you say is really important to you. If it isn't something that just naturally draws you in and wants you to do more and more and consume more and more.
Because if you're not passionate about it, you're just suffering. So I'm asking you why are you trying to suffer?
Yeah, no, you're right. Like, I mean, yeah, if you're just doing stuff to like because you think that you need to do it every single day, but you hate it. Actually, well, it's funny you say that, because the second part of this reflection is about like what we always talk about a lot about the question around, do you absolutely, what's your favorite day of the week is a question that we've asked ourselves regularly many a times of and to be fair, and we can talk about this afterwards, but to be fair, before this whole journey started, my absolute best favorite day of the week was Friday afternoon. As soon as like the workday would like slow to a crawl's pace, I could open up a bottle of wine, finally relax, and just kind of let myself metaphorically let my hair down and just finally be Chris, because I've been go the entire week, and I was like, man, I just looked forward so much to like Friday night, and then the weekend, is on the way, and I had relief. I could do the stuff that I wanted to do the next day, et cetera, et cetera. Well, Drew and I have kind of flipped that around on its head a little bit and said, like, that's the exact opposite thing that you should be doing. If your favorite day of the week should be Monday, because you should be itching all weekend long to really get back into something that you really, really enjoy, and not be relieved that you don't have to do the shit that you don't want to do anymore, kind of thing. So and this is where ultra learning fits in for me, is like, how the hell are you supposed to know what you really like to do, right? That's a problem that I think that all of us run into. And it's like, yeah, that's great in theory. Yes, everybody should be addicted to the stuff that they do every day. Everybody should love Mondays, and the weekend should be the worst time because you're like just itching to get back into everything. Well, that's where the concept of ultra learning for me was super valuable. So as you both know, I like to do my monthly challenges, I guess, if you will. This month I'm doing the Wim Hof method. I'm doing cold showers every day and different breathing exercises, and we're seeing how it's going. I actually started last week, so I'm about a week into it, so it's been kind of interesting so far. But the concept of ultra learning, of really immersively just diving into something and learning a new skill and seeing if you like it, kind of try before you buy. If you find yourself with that addictive kind of like feeling at the end of it, then you're onto something. You may that's a value you may want to dive into a little bit deeper, and that's an activity that clearly relates to something you care about. this year, Magical Learning Project was something that started off as one of those monthly challenges, and by the end of the month, I was addicted to writing these things, and I was like, man, this is just a ton of fun. I really enjoy this every single day. It starts my day off right, et cetera, et cetera. So that's my overall like just sentiment, I guess, around this book of Ultralearning. It's a great methodology. You can go learn to try and dive into stuff, and always be adding new things to your repertoire to see if there's see what you're addicted to, and then you can from there you can kind of backtrack into, well, what do I value so much about this whole thing, and you can start to unlock your values out of it as well. So I'll pause there. I'd love to get your guys' thoughts. Lot to unpack. So concept of Ultralearning, what's your favorite day of the week, and how do you guys choose things, activities that are related to your values? Love to dive in there.
Yeah, well, I have some initial questions though, serious, because I didn't really get exactly what Ultralearning is. Like, is it just submersing yourself, like this guy, like, submerse himself in a language? So is Ultralearning just about like submersion and feedback, and then just continually trying?
Yeah, it's just trying something new and diving in. Like, I mean, he would move to a different country. That was how he immersed himself. He would say, I can't speak English. That's it. Like, when I'm gonna go to Spain.
Isn't that a short period of time, like and like 1,000 hours or something like that? Is it? I think that's what I remember as what the gist of the book was, is that he can learn something in a short amount of time compared to a normal course or whatever. So he compact everything into very short, so he can learn in, I don't remember the exact number, but there's a number that you can learn anything in this number of hours.
It's a systematized approach to learning in a rapid fashion, basically. So so not necessarily saying like you're gonna go try to learn tennis and all of a sudden you're going to be on the professional tennis tour or something like that.
No, I get that. And one thing that just it makes me think about is just like how sad our education system is, and like how drawn out it is, teaching our high school students, and they don't really want to be there. And just like, I mean, Ultralearning, I think, really happens when you are like that passionate and you do get like addicted and you see your own progress, and but more it's like just something you're passionate about. And seriously, I was a little bit questioning though, because as you were talking, I found myself saying, but like, I feel like every time we talk, Chris, you're always like, but I don't really like my job, or I'm there. Not that you don't like it, or you're there and you wish you could be spending your full time, let's say, doing clubbing or living your core values. So I almost seems like you're a little bit hypocritical.
I am. I don't want to be there. I still like Fridays. It's still my favorite day. The only thing that I don't like about Fridays is that Drew and I aren't doing what we're doing on Saturday and Sunday, and that I force myself to take a break from my workouts and stuff like that on the weekends. Those are the things that really reflect my values. No, it's 100%. It's not hypocritical. It's that I'm still trying to find a way to find my path to get that out of my life. So I can be excited about on Friday, like, going, oh, this is not my favorite
on Monday.
Right. Yeah.
Because I think like for myself, like, honestly, I feel like I'm usually, it's like, as I'm working on that as well, but I'm kind of excited about like whether like Mondays or Tuesday, but Saturdays have been my favorite, just because I've been like at the farmer's market, working on like making grilled cheese, selling cheese, getting feedback from customers. And it's kind of like, and I guess I'm submerging myself in marketing when it comes to the purple cows. But I don't know. When I look at this question,
what happened if you have 7 Saturdays?
7 Saturdays? Oh boy, it would just like it would just be like, me always working on my own projects, because like, I mean, it's school, like, I mean, you guys know what it is like to be at work, whatever. You're just like kind of twiddling your thumbs in a way, or like yeah. I got a text, I got an Airbnb person like to sign up because I just put my house on Airbnb, and I'm like, hold on, students, hold on. Let's take a 5-minute break. But anyway, let me check out this question here. What is some new activity you've been wanting to try to see if it fits your identity? Let me think about this, Trio, maybe while you kind of interject with some of your thoughts so far.
Okay. So for me, I think, off the bat, my kind of like the gist of what I'm trying to get from this conversation is that, no one can tell you what your core values or what you like the most. Only
Mhm.
you can do that. And sometimes you have to make the experimentations to see what jives with you,
Yeah.
what you like. So to me, that process cannot, there's no shortcut for that. I can't tell you, hey, Chris, you should be very, very, non-hypocritical or whatever. And I can't tell you that because I mean nothing to me, nothing to you, because only you can tell, hey, I like to play tennis. And so you have to kind of try, like you said, try before you buy. But once you find it, you can't wait to spend time to it. There's not enough time in your day that fills with it. My days are my best days are always on Monday because I'm so excited to get back. Okay, I have 4 kids. During the weekend, they're at home, they don't go to school, so I don't have time to myself to do the things that I want to do. Just like you said, your Saturday is your time, right? Because you get to do the things that you want to do or the things that is in the moment, like the Airbnb thing. Because right now I'm doing this. I've been reading this book about eating meat, carnivore diet, keto, and all that. So I'm doing this keto, and I've been doing for a month now, and so I'm so excited to get on. Like Monday is my day where I do a lot of my, I guess the grocery shopping, the cooking, and so I can't wait until I get up, start planning for my day, go find the food I think is good, and I'm experimenting it. And for me, in this 30 days, I'm like totally absorbed in it, right? And at night, I'm thinking about it, and I'm testing myself. I'm testing my ketones. I'm testing my glucose. I mean, and I see result, and it is just amazing. And I'm so like,
I got mine too. I got mine too. My keto mojo.
yeah, you came out. So I got the keto track. It's I don't know if that, but regardless, it's about the I guess the progress I'm making, right? And to me, getting to, I mean, before that I didn't know, but now that I'm into it, I feel like there's a different changes that I've seen. And like I said, because it's something that I like, I'm so involved in, I can't wait until Monday, because Monday is when my kids are going to school. I have the time to do the cooking, the preparation, the exercise, whatever it is that the keto is. And I'm journaling my every measurements and activities I do, what I eat and everything. And so for me, that's like an outer learning, just because I'm consumed 100% of my time on it. Right. And by the end, because I'm also doing evidence-based research, because I'm taking the books I've read and I'm experimenting on it and trying to confirm whether or not these things actually does what they claim to do. Right. So not only that, right, I'm doing the evidence-based. That means that, is it working for me? And with that, right, you think about it, by the time I'm 3 months in, I'm pretty much pretty sufficient of telling you what is good and what isn't. Oh, this one does this to your body. This one does this much. That one does that much, right? So in essence, that's an outer learning. But the thing is, I'm so soaked into this thing that's all I do every day. And I can't wait to get back to it.
So what's the value? What's the value that you're enjoying out of it? I'm guessing is, and here's why I'm asking this. Yeah. Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
Okay. So the question is, what's the value? The value is, for me, it aligns me with my health, right? Health to me is first and foremost. So for me, my health like order is, you got to have physical health that gives you mental health, that gives you financial health. Because if you're not physical, you cannot be mentally clear. You're not mentally clear, there's no way you can think clearly and make good decisions, right? And so for me, that's there. So when I'm doing because for me, like, I can't sleep. I'm getting older. I can't sleep. I toss and turn all night, right? I have diabetes, right? And that thing is just causing wreckage on my body and on my mind, because I can't sleep. If your body, it keeps constantly like tugging at you for whatever reason, you just can't sleep. If you can't sleep, how can you recuperate? How can you recover? And how can you think clearly? at
So
your
you,
best.
wait, Trio, is that for real? You have diabetes and you can't
Yeah.
sleep well?
Yes. It
Yeah,
gets
wow.
worse and worse because when you get diabetes, you have a symptom called restless leg syndrome.
Uh-huh.
Even by the name of it, you know what it means. It's just
Yeah.
rest. I mean, your legs. It's just like it's just achy. It won't let you at peace. So you can't sleep if that's the case. And then you're constantly trying to maintain the sugar levels, and it doesn't work. It doesn't work at all because it's the delay. There's like a 15-minute delay, then an hour delay. So there's some food that goes up instantly. There's some food that takes a while, but you can't unless you have a continuous glucose monitoring, which is real expensive. You just can't measure it, and then it's not controllable. But the diet I'm doing, it's like the moment I start the diet, no more medications, it just goes down directly.
That's great.
Right.
That is awesome.
And now it's not like my blood sugar is better than a normal person.
Good.
Right.
That's amazing. Yeah.
So to me, it aligns along with my core values of how do I maintain my health first before I do anything else. And so with this thing, it seems to be making a lot of difference. Regardless of what people say, either I'm gonna have a terrible life or I do this thing, which is going the opposite way.
I love that. That is a perfect example of Ultralearning. Honestly, it is and Ultralearning for values, right? Like
yes,
Ultralearning for values. When you try it out, you clearly found an alignment between this is important for what I'm doing with what I say is important, which is kind of my point, I guess, of the reflection in general is like that's how you discover. Actually, here's a question for you. What comes first? Is it the activity or the value? Like, do you say like, I value this?
I would say it's a value. It's not activity. Activity is support of the value because without the value of, hey, I want to have a healthy body. Why do I do this diet? Why do I try that diet? It doesn't align. I mean, you're not going to be excited about it.
I don't know. I can see it being the other way too. Cause like when I try out just random stuff, like, like the Wim Hof method, like, I mean, it
what's the
either sticks
value?
or I don't know yet. Like, I mean, I'm going to go do it and we'll see if I,
but I thought challenge, like challenge is one of your values.
Exactly.
It is. The activity that I'm doing is related to the value, but that doesn't mean
it's related maybe indirectly, but it's still related. Right. So I think it has to be value of some sort.
Yeah. I think that like, and one thing though is like, we get into these episodes of, let's say, wanting to learn something. And I do think they are linked to our values, but it also takes confidence, self-confidence to maintain those values and maintain that like intensity to keep wanting to learn. And I think that's something that not necessarily all people have. And I think it's important to cultivate so that you can continually learn, like, let's say one thing. But there's something that I read the other day or heard that I kind of think like it's true. Like people don't like to do things for necessarily like a really long time. Like it's not in our nature to like want to do something for like maybe 10, 15 years. Like we kind of are like more like these sprint learners almost, whether like submerge ourselves in this, for like, 30 days or a year or 2 years and I don't know if that's true or not, but I do see a little bit of truth in that. And I've been trying to think about actually my business for the future. How people sometimes have the allure idea, oh, I want to be a cheesemaker. That'd be so amazing to make cheese. And it's like, so if I could end up creating a system where let's say, well, sure, you can be a cheesemaker, but you can just do it for a year or two. And there's like no commitment. You don't have to invest all the time and money and equipment, but really, or let's say a farmer, let's say you want to be a dairy farmer. Oh, I love the dairy farmer because you like think about it, but you don't like, I mean, in terms of actually like that book about the stumbling on happiness, we're very bad at like predicting everything in the future. So if I could create sort of a framework where people can come do it and experience and then move on. Because like the same thing, like I wanted to be a teacher. Now I'm like, I'm done being a teacher, so
that's
awesome. it's a try before you buy concept.
That's an amazing idea, first off, because you could get free labor of people that you can
exactly
go train.
Free cheap labor.
Yeah. Well, no, but that's what a lot of these apprenticeship programs used to be back in forever and in perpetuity. It's like, I'm not going to pay. You're going to go understudy with somebody that is addicted to it, that loves it every single day. And then like, you know, you get to learn, and if you become good at it and it's something that aligns to what you care about as well, then keep going. If you don't, like, you got a great experience and you can go keep building your range and finding what that is, you know, like, and that's totally cool. Actually, to your point, there's a book that we already did toward the beginning of this called When. It's
When or Win?
Yeah, When. It's like the science of like timing in life and stuff like that. And you're totally right. I feel it too, man. Like about every 2 years, every 3 years. I mean, I've stayed at multiple companies way longer than that, but like I feel it. I got to get out of this job after like 3 years. It's like I need a new challenge. I need a new, you know, something to stimulate me to perk me up again, to keep me going, and this kind of a role. So True and I had talked about with Clubany in the future at some point in time. Every 2 years, we want to make every single person take a sabbatical for like 3 months, go do an ultra learning thing of a new activity or whatever it may be within the business that needs to be filled, and have them go figure out if they like it or not, and then jump into that afterwards, because like it just keep refining your skills and building them, and you know, and challenging yourself. And yeah, I agree with you. I think that is a human, you know, nature, you know, side effect of every few years needing a new challenge.
Because the thing is, sometimes it takes a while for you to determine whether or not you like it. Because you can say, hey, you know, the thought of become a cheesemaker sounds really cool, and I can imagine it, but there's other things that goes into that, and it may take maybe a year for you to figure it out. But to become a cheesemaker, you know, you have to put in a lot of capital up front to become a cheesemaker, and that is difficult. So if you can imagine, you know, you say, well, how about buying a fractional part of rent a store, rent a cow, rent something among a group of people, and have at it and become a cheesemaker with a very, very low entry.
So that's a great idea.
And see
Start a
if
business.
and have that person see if this is something that I like to do, and if I'm really, really excited about it, I can do this for long term. But if it's something that it's just a fad for me, then okay, it's a fad, you know. Because we imagine things and reality doesn't match what we imagine, then we start to get discouraged, and we move on. But if you have something that is really, really good, you know, somebody who like to swim, always swim, whether or not they're, you know, 20 or they're 100, they're gonna swim. Somebody who likes tennis, right? They're gonna play tennis whether they're, you know, 25 or, you know, 125.
Yeah, but yet, like, as I wonder, like, you know, we're looking at this like ultra learning. I mean, I think I can consider us three sort of liberal minded, and I wonder if like more conservatives though, like just want to do more of the same thing or something, like, or just they want to. You think like some tradespeople or whatever, they were a carpenter for 50 years or a masonry worker for 50 years or electrician or any job, and I wonder if it's actually kind of like wired into us differently, because I do believe like humans are wired differently, like on a conservative slash progressive, conservative slash liberal basis. And I wonder though too if it's kind of wired into us if we prefer to like learn new things, like you say, Chris, every 2 or 3 years, or just people can be content and like just do one thing.
I would totally argue the opposite of that. Like I'm not a liberal person, and if you say it from like I'm both. I'm very much so, like, I'm a libertarian. If anything, I'm both, right? So I do have consistency and longevity. I've been playing tennis since I was 5. I've been,
that's true.
You know, I have the same best friends that I've had since I was like, you know, the first day that I met him in grade school. That doesn't mean I don't like meeting new people though. That doesn't mean that I don't like trying new things. That doesn't mean I don't mind doing a Wim Hof method, you know, thing for 30 days to see if I like it or not, right?
Yeah.
That's the whole beauty for me of living my values, is it allows me to, my natural instinct is to do the same thing over and over again, right? And to embrace the suck, if you will, you know, like and to do the, before Amelia, it was do the shit that I hate the most, you know, kind of thing was my motto, like, you know, like just get it done, like, you know, and then go do the
be a man.
Right, exactly. All these other things. And I realized that wasn't.
Okay.
Then I realized that wasn't what I want to do with my life. That's not what I actually care about. So like now it's a much more balanced approach of like trying new things out while I'm still doing the stuff that I love. This is why I was saying, you know, the try before you buy model is why I really like the ultra learning thing. Like, I mean, I think of what you're talking about, the cheese side of everything. Like I love wine. Like I would love to open up a vineyard someday or something like that. Like I would love to go understudy with a vineyard person, you know, a owner or somebody that was like a master winemaker or whatever it may be, and figure out if this is really something I actually really like, and if it does align to my values. The beauty of that model, Snow, of what you're talking about, is if you're smart, after 4 months and you don't like it, get the hell out. Don't waste 20 years of your life just embracing the suck of going, well, I committed all this stuff to it and all these resources. Now I just got to do it. You know what I mean? You know, versus like if you do really like it, then great, you found something new.
Yeah, because you see people like going in and out of the cheese business all the time, and one thing I liked actually in this Purple Cow book is like you want to create a product, whether it's like wine or you know, having a product that people are obsessed about, you know.
Yeah.
And I think cheese is one of those products that people are like obsessed about, like, oh man, I had the best cheese over in Italy or France, yada yada, and they'll search it out. So I think cheese is a unique thing that I can kind of milk that cow, let's say.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But I think wine is the same thing as well.
for sure.
Yeah.
I mean,
So another thing is that people have this sunk cost fallacy. When you, let's say you have you want to start a vineyard, right? You spend a lot of money and time into it. You are going to convince yourself that you make the right choice.
Yep.
Right? I've also seen people go to medical school. They go to medical school for 2 years, 3 years. They say, well, do you like it? Well, after this, I don't know. But that person is going to become a doctor regardless.
yeah.
And right, they're not going to say, well, I think you're right and I'm wrong. I'm going to quit medical school after my second or third year. Right? No one's going to do that. And they're going to get their MD and they're going to practice another 40 years, 50 years.
And be
right?
miserable the whole time.
Yeah, it'll be miserable.
There's a lot of them. There's a lot of them out there. But
Yeah, 'cause
even though
everyone's like-
even though they know that you're right, they can't turn around. They sunk cost fallacy.
Yeah.
The money and the time they put into it, it is
Yeah.
so much that they can convince themselves that this is the right choice.
Yeah. I mean, in terms of like this ultra learning, like I think it's makes sense that like a lot of people have a passion for learning. Like you things of like how we evolved, or it almost just makes sense that we like learning new things and like creating connection. There's actually this idea about what fun is. I remember looking it up when like I was trying to create fun in the classroom, and I looked at the definition, and there was something neat that I came across. I'm not probably gonna get it exact right now, but it's like taking new information and blending it with information you already know.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's range.
It's
That's
technically
range.
fun, you
It's the
know.
book range.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what do you say?
That's the book range. It's
that-
it's generalized knowledge that you're mixing and matching. That's creativity.
Yeah, it's,
Well,
it's creativity.
yeah,
It's fun.
yeah.
So
But the thing
definitely-
is that's also aligned with the happiness hypothesis, because if you get to the point where you do the, let's say your marathon, right? You get to the end, right? Well, it's there, you're nothing. But if you progressing,
exactly. Yep.
that makes it so exciting. It's like, let's say for me, is I'm better at my health right now. I'm so excited right now, right?
Yeah.
I'm excited tomorrow, excited. But by the time I get to the point where I have perfect health, like, okay, cool, I have perfect health. And there's nothing more to it.
There'll be more to it though, you know, but that and that's why I think like the Stoics or kind of we're on this quest. Like, I mean, values are eternal though, you know?
Yeah.
And I've been thinking about myself though, like maybe sometimes getting overwhelmed by a value at some point, like, oh, let's say I'm adventurous. Like, well, actually, in terms of like happiness hypothesis or progression, no, how can I like this week be more adventurous or more healthy, you know?
Mhm.
Exactly.
But there is no status, no stake in the ground of health or adventure or joy, you know? It's
Right,
it's really
right,
just like us reaching for something and sort of that Sisyphus
right.
model. And I think yeah, like this whole thing about happiness is we want to do what we want, I think. And like, I don't know, I think I've just been coming more like a guy once said to me years ago, or I remember him saying that like, you know, you want to do something, do it. Like it's a classic, obviously duh, like
Right.
Nike type stuff, but you want to do something, do it. You know, don't
Yep.
wish, and like this has been good for me to realize this, like not realize this, but like think about it more because I am someone who like cares about sometimes what people care about my behavior. So I need to like get over the fact that sometimes people are not going to appreciate my behavior or think that I'm doing something that isn't great. But that could be just what they're going through, you know?
Right.
Now I don't need to take on their emotional package and like, hey, I know what I'm doing is great, or other people support me, and to not realize that you like can't please everybody. A lot of people are sometimes just dealing with like their own shit.
This is exactly why we were talking about Fridays, versus Mondays, right? Or the weekends versus Mondays. It's exactly that point. It's like if you like something, you're gonna want to do it as much as you could do it. Who gives a shit what anybody else thinks at that point in time? You just like, I just want to keep going, man. Like I don't want to stop on Saturday. Like I just want to keep rocking and rolling, and that's when Mondays are your favorite days, when you have to force yourself to stop and to take a break for like balance sake, I guess, if you will, to say like, look, adventure is great. I'm so excited to do all this stuff, but like I need to like take a day off and rest here, just because like I'm just too into this. You know what I mean? Like that's when that I think that you're onto something, which is like, who gives a shit? Like, like do what you like. Like you said, do the stuff that you want to do with the people you want to do it with, how you want to do it, and for who you want to do it for, right? Like that's what matters, right? And if you do more of that, you'll be happy.
Yeah. And I think, but in a lot of learning is personal too. It's not, I mean, like I think we all know what we want to learn for, and I don't think there needs to be an explanation about why. I don't know. I just want to learn the shit,
right. I don't know why I'm reading the Wim Hof method. Like, I mean, I have no idea. Like, it sounded interesting. I think if you wanted to like psychoanalyze how I got to this point in time, I think endure is one of my values, core values. So probably trying to explore, like something that my daughter went through and how that kind of comes about. I'm finishing up this book Into Thin Air right now, the other John Krakauer book that about the Everest disaster.
Oh, I didn't read the Into Thin Air one.
It's about him
climbing Everest. I read Into the Wild and I love that.
Yeah, this Into the Wild is tame in my view compared to this Into Thin Air book, because it's like it's just so sad. Like, I mean, I don't understand. I'm trying to understand why people would put themselves through that experience of climbing Everest and seeing 8 of your friends die out of 30 people. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't even I don't know. It's tough to hear this whole story. But anyway, we're sidetrack. My point is, I don't know why I'm doing these things, but I do it, and I like it, and I keep going.
It doesn't have to be a direct why. It's gonna be a indirect, subconscious reason, and it will surface you one day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What were you gonna say, Snow?
No, I was gonna say, but that's like, like people can want like questions like, oh, why are you doing that? Why this and that? Why that? And I mean, I don't know. Do we have to answer to people?
Do you know why?
Yeah, I mean, I guess, and guys, this all just stems from my relationship with my brother about like his frustrations with kind of what I've done with the farm, or or my interactions with him. So there's always like kind of that chip on my shoulder, or just like almost like in the back of my head, for good though too, for good.
Yeah. Well, anyway, that was a fun conversation, guys. So let's I know we're pretty this is a pretty long one today, so so let's wrap it up for everybody listening in. The question you guys can think about is, what's some activity you've been wanting to try on to see if it fits your identity, and check it out, try it out, do some ultra learning, and let us know how it goes.
Yeah, and with that, we'll see you next time.